Hello, hello, hello. It is your boys, the DM podcast here for you. Yes, we've been gone for a minute. Sometimes life, so it's okay. But we're here now this week. We're hoping to bang out 3 episodes. An
Together
episode today, another day, and another day. We're hoping to talk about some ball each day. And our third one is going to be just about Vince Carter. We're from Toronto. So we just want to talk about Vince Carter and, everything he kind of did for us as a honestly a country. So that's episode 3 for this week that you guys will see. But today we're gonna talk about some ball, some college ball, just a little bit, some college, of course, some NBA topics like the standings, Jayson Tatum, all those things. But first and foremost, my man over here, YS, Young Skull, how's everything going?
every day above ground. How about you?
Good. There was 2 massive dunks today. As we record this, a lot of the games just finished, and Anthony Edwards hit a his dunk on Collins.
Yeah,
Was probably the dunk
crazy.
of the year.
I hope Collins is okay though.
He got a concussion. He
I
got a
know.
concussion. Oh, he got a concussion. He had a head injury, but they won't call it a concussion.
Okay.
I think Shams reported it. Respectfully, if I was Collins, I'd be like, do not say that after this dunk, I got a concussion. I'd be kind of cheesed. I'd be like, don't say that. Don't. I'd be so cheesed because making me feel like I got like the dunk's even worse because I got a
Yeah,
concussion.
yeah.
Like,
But like, if you see it though, he wasn't unconscious, so there was no concussion. Like, yeah, there was no, yeah, he was just like, what happened? Like, what happened?
yeah,
He was on the
yeah,
ground, like, what happened? Like, shit.
yeah. Like I wouldn't want all that. I'd be like, man, you guys are. I'd be like, don't say nothing about it. Don't say anything about it. There was that dunk, and then there was another dunk. It was Jalen Johnson on Austin Reeves. It looked like he kind of jumped over him. So
Oh, I
that
didn't
dunk
see
was,
that. I didn't
yeah,
catch
that was
that
like just happened. Like that one, he looked like he dunked over him. It was nice, and then he kind of like stood over him and was staring at him like how dare you even like come my way?
yet. Yeah, yeah.
And no one did anything. Like I didn't see LeBron or Anthony Davis like do anything. I don't know, man. No man is gonna step on my team like that. You gotta push the man and gotta show him what's up. But 2 massive dunks, and Anthony Edwards hurts his finger while doing. I think like
Dislocation, I think, right?
yeah, didn't show any picture. Did you see any picture of that?
No, I didn't see any picture. I just he was about to celebrate, and then he's like, "Fuck, I'm in pain. Let me just
Dude.
let me just
And everyone's hyping him around, and he's just like this, like
He's just
I
like,
can't.
"Fuck," like, yeah,
He's in too much pain.
yeah.
Okay, let's talk about our first topic. But this is a small one. I kind of just added it in the beginning, where LeBron James and JJ Redick they're starting their own podcast. I think they're just going to talk about the game and which. Here's the thing. One thing with LeBron, he seems like a person who may. I feel like he acts like he doesn't want to talk, but he also like moves as if he wants to talk a lot. Like he wants people to hear his voice and to hear his comments and hear his thoughts. Like he
LeBron be chatting. LeBron be chatting.
he does, he does, and you can tell like he wants to. But I'm also thinking, okay, you're gonna do this podcast with JJ Redick. How much times y'all really doing this podcast?
Mm.
Like LeBron, aren't you busy?
Hella busy, I would assume, but and they're gonna be in person. They're not gonna be via Zoom or Skype. It's gonna be
That's
in
what it looked
person.
like. Looked like they're always gonna be in person.
Well, shoot. I don't know. LeBron would just hop on a PJ, fly out. Redick hop on a PJ, fly out, or meet somewhere. Hour,
This
two
is
hours,
true.
bing, bing. It's LeBron.
This is true. Even JJ Redick can kind of go to like anywhere. He can just put him on a red
Yeah.
eye and just like they can
And
sit down and
The
talk.
Lakers aren't gonna go far in the playoffs, I don't think. They're not gonna go too far. That's second round. If they
I
get
don't know.
there.
That
They
that's
get the
that
second round.
we we're gonna talk about the Western Conference, but like it's the whole thing, the whole seating and everything is gonna be so messy because it's constantly changing. Like every 2 seconds, a team is moving. But yeah, like for this podcast, I'm thinking like they're gonna try to break down the game, because JJ Redick likes to break down the game, talk about certain things. Now, LeBron James having a podcast can like almost change everything. It can almost change the landscape of sports media and like he's the best player in well, not the best player, the most popular player in the NBA. He's the
Yeah.
most popular player in the NBA. He's doing a podcast where he's talking. I feel like it could change a lot because we have so much player pods, like so much past players, current players. Jalen Brunson has a podcast, and that guy barely speaks, and he
Does
has a
he?
podcast. Yeah, with
Brunson.
Josh Hart.
Serious.
Yeah, they have a podcast
Okay,
together.
true, true.
I think they're like maybe episode 2 or 3 in, but they have a podcast, and theirs is more because like they get along so well, and they're friends
Yeah.
from college. Villanova.
Villanova, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so those Villanova ties are kind of like really what's there, but yeah, they're so I just think like this could be a good podcast. DJ is a very intelligent podcast. He's a good podcaster
He is, he is,
overall.
he is.
Um,
JJ, he has good takes.
yeah, I'm just curious LeBron on a pod. Like it just
I don't know about LeBron and Paul. Like, depending on what he's talking about, if he's sharing player practice stories, sort of things like that, depending on what he talks about.
I
But
would almost want to hear his like I almost want to hear his story. I don't even need the podcast. I almost want like LeBron's like journey, what he's seen in his past
yeah,
experiences on different teams. Like I don't think LeBron has good player comps in the sense of when he looks at a player, he's always passed a comment like, "Oh, the guy I knew this guy was going to be good." No, you didn't, LeBron. No, you didn't.
LeBron be capping still sometimes. LeBron be capping still.
Heavy, 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 heavy.
Can't be like,
So the first or the second topic, the actual one of the main topics I want to talk about is this. I want to get your thought process. So yesterday, we're recording this on a Monday. Yesterday, the NCAA, of course, had their March Madness. They had their picks of the 68 teams on both the women's and men's side. It's one of the favorite things I like watching. I love watching Selection Sunday. It's actually so much fun to watch, to see these teams like, in the beginning of that process. March Madness, as you love March Madness just as much as I do, and it's just a fun time for college sports. Now, in saying that, the one question I want to pose to you, and I've seen people talk about it. Well, who's the most famous college player, male college player right now? Could you name any male college player?
honestly, I barely know any male college players because these guys just be one and done. So if you play like 2, 3 years, then okay. But I only know the guy from out here, Edie,
Yeah,
Purdue, right?
yeah.
This is his fourth year. I don't really know anyone else in men's NCAA. I don't. And I'm not even
I,
trying to front here. Like who, like I don't.
you're
I
because
know more
there's
high
no
school
popular.
players than
Right, right,
NCAA
right.
players.
That's the crazy thing. Because like if
Okay,
you ask me about high school players,
Wagner Jr. Shout out to Juan Wagner Jr.
yes,
Shout out
yes,
Wagner Jr. Other than that,
yes.
I don't know. I really don't know.
I think like the only players that I know is of course Edie, like you said, because he's Canadian, so like, he's the one I know the most. But I'm thinking there's no popular NCAA player this year. The most popular NCAA player is Bronny James, right?
Oh,
He's the most popular NCAA
like,
player.
like I didn't want to say him because he's not really that. Like he's not even a
Right,
starter.
right. You're right.
So,
Yeah, it's like he's
but
not
you're
a
right
guy.
about that. You're right about that.
He starts now, but like the team's not good, right? That's why a lot of people think he should play another year to show his talents. This
Yeah.
year, which I don't blame, he wasn't able to show his talents of what
Mhm,
he's good at. So I
mhm.
think he needs another year to kind of show that. But his his teammate, I think it's Isaiah Kohler. He
Mhm.
is like a point guard. He was like a one-time projected like top five. I think he's one of the best in the nation as a high schooler.
It's a high
He was
school.
he was a good prospect at the time.
Okay.
He's still gonna be a top prospect. I hear already like mock drafts have him going to the Raptors at like the 16th pick if he were to go that low, and if they were to get that pick, of course.
Okay.
He from Indiana, they people think that he's a type of player that they can get around there. Other than that, there's a guy named Dillinger. He is from Kentucky. He's like pretty explosive. Like from what I see, you would
Dylan,
kind of like his game.
what is he
Uh,
position does he play? I haven't watched too
like
much.
a shooting guard, but I think they may put him at the one, but like he's like a 1-2.
Okay.
Yeah, he's more like skinny like Jalen Green. Kind of has the moveset like a Jalen Green, but he's
Okay.
Kentucky, right? It's like Kentucky blood. So people are like, oh, could this be the next Shea, Jamal, Devin? Like it could be one of those. Oh, Darian Fox, right? The Malik Monk, right? There's the list of
Yeah,
Kentucky guards.
okay.
So people think there's another hidden gem, and this guy, he seems like kind of like a chucker to me. Like he's like more of a six man, but that's like from college. That's what I'm
Clarkson? You said Clarkson?
yeah, like that's what I see, but I'm curious to see what else. Other than that, there's no one in college ball. Like UConn was the number one overall seed in the NCAA tournament. I didn't know that they were that good. I
Me
know I
neither.
heard of Purdue. I heard of Arizona because they have the one guy that came from UNC that's on that team. Like this is gonna be one of the hardest years for me to predict who's gonna win because a lot of the 10th seed teams are as close to the seventh. There's like a 14th seed that like everyone thinks, oh, they're disrespected for getting 14th. They should have got higher. So things like that already like that's your bracket busters
Pick
immediately,
underdogs. Pick underdogs. Wow.
right? So now I'll ask you, and this is what the main topic will be about, and we'll see why it's like this. But can you name any NCAA women's basketball players?
Let me think. Angel.
Angel Reese, yeah.
You know what I mean? Caitlin.
Caitlin Clark.
You got Juju Watkins. What's his name?
It's Watkins. Yeah, yeah. Who gets like who's like co-signed by like LeBron and everybody else. Like everyone
Co-signed.
co-signs her.
Yeah. And then who's that girl from South? Was it South Carolina?
I know what you're talking about. You're not talking about the center. You're talking about the guard, or you're talking about the center.
Yeah, the guard, the guard.
The guard, I forgot the guard's name, but she's gonna be like somebody, right? She's gonna be somebody, but she's not gonna be in the she's 3 years down the line for
Oh,
her.
and
Like
Paige. I forgot about Paige. Paige
Yes,
still.
exactly. Paige is someone, and the crazy thing is that Juju still has a few years, just 3 more years before she's gonna be someone we talk about consistently. We have the Canadian who's gonna probably be drafted like top seven in the WNBA draft in Aaliyah Edwards. So like there's we already named like seven people, right? Like I and because the
Yeah,
center from South Carolina who hit that big shot over Tennessee. It's a
yeah,
huge shot. Like that was a clutch shot. Like she's good. There's a few people. I think there's the girl from Stanford. She's a tall blonde. I forgot her name, but she's like Steph Curry's goddaughter. No, Steph Curry's father is her godfather. So like that's how
seriously,
they're connected.
seriously.
Um, yeah,
Okay,
it's 'cause I think their parents are like best friends or whatever. But yeah, like these at the end of the day, there's people that I can like visually say, yeah, these girls are the face of NCAA college ball.
100,
Like we have
100.
we have faces. The faces of college ball right now is Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. And there's more. There's on LSU. There's Flo. I want to call her FloJo. She's a
Shout out
guard.
RP Flojo, the OG Flojo, but yeah, you know.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
She's a rapper. Plus, she plays a guard on the team. And then they also have I want to call her name like Van Leith. She's a blonde girl, and
Okay,
she's cold. Like she's cold on the court. Like I just named like eight, nine people on women's college ball.
yeah.
Clearly there's a difference between the college ball and whatever's happening with the men's ball. So we can call it the
Man.
one and done. But what do you see? Like, why could we just both name a bunch of women, but we can't name any men?
You know, the main reason is familiarity. Wow, wow. Sorry.
That's
But
one.
we familiar with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we get to know them. You know what I mean? What's that show where everybody knows your name?
Yeah.
Doom,
Cheers.
doom.
Great
Like
cheers.
Cheers, right? You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like we know it's personal. Like we see Angel Reese, we see her in interviews, we see her do, certain things. So it's like we get to know them. Yep, 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 yep. We get to know them, right? With the men's or the boys, I should say. It's like Imani Bates, for example. He went to two schools.
Yeah.
There's barely any. I. It's like, huh?
Yeah.
Two schools barely played each of them. Bing, bing. In the league. Where's in the league now? I don't even know who he plays for now. I think it was the Pistons last time I heard or something. I don't even know who he plays
There's the
for.
Cavs.
The
It should be
Cavs.
still the Cavs. it
See,
should still be the Cavs. Like
it's
from my
exactly, exactly. And he did 2 seasons.
yeah,
A lot of these guys are doing one, right? What happened
yeah,
to Dior Johnson, Mikey Williams with the Charge, for example? What happened to where, you know what I mean? Like I was looking forward to those guys, right?
yeah,
Now I don't even just okay. I'm just looking at the teams, not the
yeah,
players, right? I'm just looking at the overall team like, oh, I like Duke. I like UNC. I like Villanova. I like Kansas. You're not talking about the players on
yeah.
those squads because you don't know them. You know it's going to be a new set next year, unless you're talking about mid-major schools, those
And
small mid-major schools. But
I think that's what's also happening in college ball because the one thing the March Madness is it's I think it's always only been fun for the first like first round, first second round, make it fun. Of course, you get that one Cinderella team, but you also always had a juggernaut team. But nowadays, there's no juggernaut team. Like, there's
yeah,
nobody that's like dominant, and like that's fine. But you said it before. The thing is that you were so familiar with the people on the squad. Like Sean Mays played on UNC for a minute. Tyler Hansbrough played for like 3 years. Harrison Barnes played for like 3, 4 years. Like these guys stayed on the squad. You
Sullinger,
watch them, and like
Sullinger, all
right,
of
right. These guys
them.
were on the squad. Where now the one and done has really ruined them. And also I don't know. Would you say the NILs have ruined them where they can kind of play for like overtime elite or they can play for the G League? You think that's ruined them as well?
I kind of think it's been a mix of everything. You know what I mean? The NIL, but just the G League. You know what I mean? These a lot of these fucking agents. These
Yeah.
guys are vultures, right? Hey, make big money. You know what I mean? Go
Yeah.
to the draft, go to the draft, be eligible for the draft, and these guys don't get drafted. And it's just a
Yeah.
shit show. You see what I'm saying? So it's like it's just a mix of a lot of things, and I feel it's the culture, mainly the culture. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're just gonna be a freshman. You just they made it cool with the Fab Five since the '90s, right?
Yeah.
So since that, they didn't win shit. I don't know why we call them the Fab Five. Like, I hear you, but they didn't win no championship. So since then, it's like five freshmen. Wow, all to play for the draft. Wow, okay, so now I can do it. Now I can do it. I'm glad they stopped the NBA going to high school, from high school to the league. I'm glad they
Yeah.
stopped, right? Has to be 1 year at least, but still, like the
I,
NIL, like I don't know. I don't know. Like I like it, but then I don't with the NIL, to be honest.
it's weird, right? Because like to me, that like why not? Like why not get paid? Everyone's buying jerseys. Why not get a little bread? I agree. Get as much bread. Some people pass comments that, especially the women's side, they're gonna make more bread doing this the NILs in college than they would in the WNBA, which
Yeah.
for some of them it could be true. For some of them it could be true. Like hopefully Caitlin Clark gets the same love when she comes to the WNBA because it's already written where she's going. She's going to play for the Indiana Fever because she's going to play with Aaliyah Boston is her name. Because they have the number one overall pick. Aaliyah Boston was number one last year. Now she'll be number one. Caitlin Clark will, and they're gonna play together. So it's pretty kind of written in the stones. Paige Beckers is luckily coming back next year, so you still got some potential stars.
Paige
Reese,
this is her third year, huh?
no, she's her fourth. I think she's going for no, no. She can go to the draft. She just chose not to. She chose not to. Yeah, she chose not. She chose to stay. So she probably may be like first overall next year because yeah, she chose to stay. So like, so then people say like, oh, for the WNBA, it's in order for it to get popular, maybe you have to bring a Caitlin Clark early, right? It's like you almost do for them. You may want to bring maybe if Angel Reese was in WNBA last year, like it's better for its popularity, but she spent another calendar year in in
LSU.
in LSU, like maybe you want to like have them go quicker, but yeah, like there's just the talent level of course is better. um they play tighter. It's a much closer games. These college guys, those are obviously close as well, but like like I said, you just think about the teams that used to be there, like the guys you used to remember from these colleges back in the day, like Raymond Felton, like Luther Head, Darian Williams, like all these guys were like we're something. Like Gonzaga had some squads on them in the past. Arizona had a little bit of something. Like
Villanova,
Villanova like had beer players. And you think about it like this, Brunson,
Syracuse had a little run.
right? Brunson, Mikel, Dante DiVincenzo all came from Villanova, and they all played more than 1 year. And look
Shout
at
out
them
Kyle
now.
Lowry. Shout out Kyle Lowry.
And look at all of them now. None of them are young and one and done. The one and done thing, I do agree that it's not the greatest thing.
It isn't.
I get it for some people, like an Anthony Davis at the time, like he was ready.
A
He was
Zion Williamson.
ready. Like these guys were ready. Like RJ honestly was ready. John
Yeah,
Moran spent 2 years, but there's some other reasons why there.
yeah, yeah.
But
Like John
but like
wasn't ready after his first season.
he wasn't. He wasn't.
Lillard at Weber State wasn't ready after his first season.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's certain guys that are like there's certain guys like if LeBron went to high school, he went to college, he would have been ready after that first year,
Right.
right? So
Yeah, he definitely would have been ready. That's why, like, hopefully, when the Cooper Flags and the Boozer twins come, we can get some more names. But that's where like all the names are from the high school right now. All the young players. That's why this draft everyone's talking more negatively about because there's no Cooper Flag, there's no Cameron Boozer, there's a few guys, even some guys like internationally. There's an African guy potentially going to Duke
no,
with
he is
Cooper
going to
Flag.
do for Cooper.
He's going there for sure,
He
right?
is. I seen
Yeah.
the jersey and the photo shoot. I'm like 7-2. True.
So hopefully these teams will be much better. But what also made these teams with these rookies better is that they had vets around them on the team. They had a guy who was there for 2 years, or a sharpshooter that was there for 3 years. They don't have that now. They don't have that now at all. Like it's just
Everyone's new or everyone's transferred because of the red shirt program now.
oh yes, the transfer portal is another issue that they have. No one stays there.
Yeah, it's like I want more
Yeah.
players coming.
That's what happened to I don't know why Caleb Love really left UNC to go to Arizona. I don't know what that did for him because if he was on UNC still, I would honestly believe in that team. I think they're I think they're a good team. They're a team I may in one of the 15 million ones that I pick. I may actually pick them. So yeah. Any final thoughts about the women's college ball and the men's college ball?
Honestly, it's just women's more popular right now, and the thing is, I don't really agree with you. You have to stay 4 years for women's, right? I
Yeah.
understand, but I don't really agree with that 100%. That's my final thoughts with that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think you should have to. I do think like 2 years. Like I like the 2 year thought because also if you're an NBA team, like if you're an NBA team, you could see Jalen Green and be like, I'm off. Or you could have saw Cade and been like, I'm good. Right? Maybe if you saw it early, you'd be like, maybe I'm not drafting that guy
Hmm.
so high.
Hmm.
So that's the thing I would think about. Next topic I wanted to bring up was something that gets brought up a lot is the year 2000s. I plan on even making like a solo video about it briefly, but like a lot of people talk about the year 2000s and this version of the NBA. And a lot of people have said like I think Iverson said he would average 40,
Hmm.
Shaq said he would average 40. A bunch of players will say they average 40. Some people are like, well, Kobe will average 40, all those things. What say you? What do you think that you know, I was gonna give you a bunch of players, which I will, but before I do that, can you tell me what you think of those 2000 players and how they would be right now?
Like if we're talking about like T Mac,
T Mac and them, yeah.
BC, AI, Kobe, like
How would they do in this generation, you think?
they would be doing like they would be getting close to me. Kobe would be getting 40
Hmm.
because if you're talking about that '06 Kobe, that '06 '07 Kobe was like fuck Smush Parker, fuck Sasha Vujacic, Like
That's
Shannon Brown, I'm fucking with you, and I'm fucking with Odom. Like if it's that Kobe when he dropped like he get him like 37 a game that year, I think it was the average 37 a game.
he was going
30.
crazy that year.
He would definitely be averaging 40 if he had that mentality with that type of squad. You know what I mean? I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting close to 40. Yeah, we're getting like 37, 38. I agree with that. Right. Fuck.
In
Shaq
this
can
league.
shoot, but I see Shaq getting in mid 35s, 35s, 37s. I think Shaq will be getting like a 37 and 13 a game.
I think so where I kind of disagree with like the
Where you
take
disagree?
of sorry.
Where do you disagree with what I said? Now let me hear this.
It's not more because everyone kind of is saying that like Iverson will score for like 40 points or Shaq. My thing is this the league's superstars are always gonna score points. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter. It
yeah.
doesn't matter the time. Right? Luka can score 30 in any version of the league because he's that dynamic. It's the other players that would to me would score more. Like I don't think Michael Jordan, if I go to school in the 90s, I don't think Michael Jordan in this era is averaging 45 points a game. I don't think so.
Okay.
I think Michael Jordan is averaging for 30. He averaged what 30? Let's say he averaged 30. He's averaging maybe 33, let's say. So three more points. But his assists are going up. He's averaging like 33, 9, and 9. Because the space and pace will give him more ability to pass the ball.
Okay.
Like he's
Okay.
gonna pass the ball more because he's gonna have more players to pass the ball. In the 90s and a little bit of 2000s, you every possession counted, right? Even when we talked about defense, every possession counted. So Iverson couldn't say like, "Hey, let's just give Aaron McKee the ball for like three straight possessions
Why
and
would you
let him
want to give
score."
him the key to ball though? For three
But
straight
you know what I'm
possessions.
saying? Like,
But I hear you.
but now it's like, okay, we have to give JV the ball like 7 times because JV needs to like get some touches. Or we got to give Gary Trent Jr. some touches.
You
So
know
now you
what?
have to do it, right? Where back then it's like, no, Jordan was the only one. So it was only Jordan, Horace Grant, or Scotty.
Here's the
And then
thing
at
though.
one point it was Kukoc.
You made a good point with the spacing is better now. Because when you
Right,
watch the old school games, the spacing was at times horrible.
right.
It was just they were just a lot of guys were just jammed up in the key and like, what's going on here? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like someone like Shaq, I don't know.
Shaq's dominant, so he's just gonna play his strengths. That's him.
Yeah.
He's
Because if
not
we
gonna be
think,
the type, oh, I need to get an outside shot. I know how to dribble. He's just gonna
yeah,
be like, let me just dominate. Let me do what I'm good at. And
yeah,
that's what Giannis doing, right? And
he'd be
Giannis,
like Giannis, but better. So I agree.
yeah,
Yeah.
just Giannis, just seal, down low seal. But in this generational Shaq, he'd be a little bit slimmer. He wouldn't just lose himself like he did in like LA, Miami type shit.
A
He'd be,
1000%. We probably have Orlando Shaq.
yeah, it'd be more like an Orlando Shaq builder, like a Shaq in LA the first year in LA.
And
Nah,
then Iverson, I think
he's putting up shots. I don't know about you, but he's putting up shots.
so he's
Regardless.
putting up shots, right? So in this league now,
Yeah, he's
how would people take him putting up shots the way he did?
thing is, if he has his own team, and I don't think AI was a man to be like, I'll be on a super team, like AI on his own team. Remember, at a time when the league would average 95 points scoring, he
Yeah,
was putting up 27, 28 shots a game.
yeah. But he had to. He couldn't pass it to Aaron McKee.
The
He
thing
couldn't pass
is,
it to
you're right, he would have more assists.
Mutombo. Like now, Mutombo needs to they're gonna be telling Mutombo to get an outside shot.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Mutombo get an outside shot, and we need you to shoot corner threes. So now
But
Mutombo has to average 14 points. As I'm saying, the league is just different. It's just different.
like with the Matumbos, with the Manute Bowles, RIP, last in today's league.
Mutombo would 1000% Mutombo would.
What about what about okay? What about Greg Ostertag, Matt Geiger, Ronnie
If you're not,
Seifert, Vlade Divac?
if you're such a negative, Vlade Divac would definitely work. If you're such a negative offensively, I mean defensively, I don't think you work. I think they need people who are like at least like a mix of both. Like you can do kind of both. Like, or if you're not good off defensively, you have to shoot the ball. We have to
Let him
shoot
be
the
an elite
ball,
shooter. Okay,
right? Like I think Scottie Pippen in this league would average like 24 points a game, 25.
I agree.
All right. He because he would almost average like 9 rebounds a game because all the other things would increase because of the space and pace. But Coach is probably scoring more points. Steve Kerr's probably scoring more points because when Jordan's driving to the lane and there's a Rudy Gobert, oh, you have Kukoc, you have other
Her.
people there, right? So I think like someone like what's his name, Magic Johnson, is probably averaging 16 assists in
He'd
this
be
league,
he'd be passing more than Halliburton. Like he would have more
right?
than Halliburton. Yeah, I agree with that.
And Halliburton averages like darn near close to 12 sometimes. So like, so
Every
I
time you see
just don't.
Halliburton in the box, it's like 13, 12, 11 assists. It's crazy.
Halliburton's nice. Okay, so here's some players that I want to see what you thought. How would they work in this league? I'm gonna name. Hopefully, I'll try to go 10 players. David Robinson.
Oh, the Admiral, he's definitely in this era, killing it. He had a Jimmy. He had a
Yeah.
Jimmy. All he would just have to do is maybe stretch the floor a little bit, like what Chris Bosh did, because he had a Chris Bosh Jimmy when he was on the Raptors, like that mid range, that turnaround, the Admiral, right? Chris Bosh just extended it to the three. That's it. Admiral will work in this generation. Let's get it.
Um, Gary Payton.
Gary Payton, he would have to definitely have a more consistent Jimmy from three, from three.
Right.
But he's definitely working because he'll pick you up from 94 feet. He's a defender that's always needed, and he was a point guard, not a shooting guard, an actual point guard. Ran the offense.
So you think he'd be a star, or more like like he would be
He'd be better
defined
than
as a role
Brogdon.
player
He'd be
way
better than
quicker?
Brogdon.
He's like a better version of Brogdon.
Yeah.
What about Drew Holiday? Like, is he a better version of Drew Holiday or a step below Drew Holiday?
You know what? I feel he would be better than Drew Holiday because to me, he has more confidence in himself than Drew. And
That's
plus
interesting.
that talking he'll be doing too, getting in your head, like he just feels like he was that guy.
Yeah,
Remember, Payton is a guy that had his own, was running the show
he
in
was.
Seattle, right?
He
So
was.
Drew was never really running the show. He was nice, but he was never running the show. But continue, yeah, yeah.
Tracy McGrady.
That's an easy yes. That's an easy yes. Was
I
he six
agree.
nine? Long, can shoot, had a bunch of moves, had hang time,
I agree.
athletic.
Because him and the KD comp, right? Everyone thinks like KD and Tracy are very similar because of the height, their skinniness, and their ability to score, right? So yeah, I think Tracy's one guy who he already averaged under 30 points a game. I think he would continuously average 30 points a game.
Tracy was way more athletic than KD. Not
Yeah.
even close.
Yep, for sure. A guy that people I've seen have been going back and forth with Dirk,
I don't know why people are going back and forth with Dirk. I don't know because he was playing in this era and in that era.
right? But he wasn't the Dirk that like he wasn't the Hall of Fame Dirk.
He wasn't. You're right. But here's the thing. He's 7 foot, legit 7'1". He's got a fucking stroke.
Yeah,
Pause. He's got that one-legged step back, right? He was an underrated passer. Stop this. You guys are overrated.
I think because they think he's a big, so his lack of defense. I'm thinking like,
I know
nah,
they're
that's why
gonna
you
do that.
build around him better defenders.
Is Towns a good defender?
Hell no,
Okay.
hell no.
But how Towns makes
Even
all-star.
though he was, but he's been better this year. He's been better this year.
Well, that's okay. He's better this year. Don't you don't if Dirk was in this time, you don't think he'd get better be a better defender
This is true.
gradually?
This is true. This is true.
I'd rather
Now,
have Dirk than Towns. I'm just gonna say that prime Dirk than prime them towns right now. I'm gonna say that in this time period.
So this player, I think he played in a little bit of part of this era, but like prime Tim Duncan.
Definitely can hold it down in this era. He's a superstar in this era. He's
Yeah.
a legit superstar. Remember, prime Tim Duncan was setting a screen at the top of the key, rolling, getting a lob here and there, or he would get the ball and be dunking on mans. Do not forget Tim Duncan was dunking on mans in the paint, right? He has a jumper. So let's just say, hey, you're playing in 2024, extend your jumper just 5 more feet. There's threes. That's it. That's it.
Paul Gasol.
Paul Gasol, he would do well. He would do well. He's not gonna be to me. I don't think he's gonna be superstar, but he would do. He would do well. He'd be like to me a better JV.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like Paul Gasol is like a better Sabonis, like without the rebound, because
Sabonis,
Sabonis can rebound.
Sabonis can rebound. Sabonis can rebound. Sabonis can gets assists too. Like he's getting triple double.
He's so good.
Yeah,
He's becoming one
like
of the
I
most
kind of feel he's
underrated players.
underrated.
Yeah, see, yeah, we both said it. Yeah, he's honestly becoming one of the most underrated players in the league,
Yeah, yeah.
like easily. Yeah, so I just think this theory, we named a few players. I just don't think this theory that these guys will be scoring like multiple points makes sense. I just think their bench players will be much better because, and these players would be, I think they'll be more efficient because they have the ability. Because you're like, okay, you know what? It is Porzingis' turn. Porzingis can shoot 15 times a game. Oh, there's White's turn, all these other people's turn. So I think it's much better. Now, before we get to our last topic, which is the Western Conference and how just crazy it is, I just have this thought, and I may make the title of our video today about this. And I was thinking about it last week, which, ball is always on my mind. Uh, Jayson Tatum. He and we all know Boston's a good team.
Very.
This is not nothing. It's not something that we're shocked about. It's not something we don't know. We're all convinced that Boston's a good team. But there's something missing about Boston. There's
I
something
agree.
missing. Jason Tatum's their best player. I don't know how to describe it, but I do think Jason Tatum is missing it. He's missing it. Now, what is it? And I've argued it one time when someone said about DeMar DeRozan, but I think it was Paul Pierce who said it. But when you think about it, hindsight, you're like, nigga wasn't wrong. Wasn't wrong. DeMar was missing it. Kawhi had it.
Definitely.
Only a few players have it. Like me, you discussed it, but it's like LeBron, KD, Steph, Giannis, uh, Joker, and then like I think Jason Tatum leaps, and you may say it's sacrilegious, but I think he leaps Devin Booker. I think when Devin Booker wants to be like on it, I think Devin Booker can have the it. Now, what does the it? Well, I don't know what the it is, but do you see what I'm saying? Right? Like, do you think Jason Tatum's missing something, or is Boston, as of course, as a whole, just missing something?
I kind of agree with you. With Jason Tatum is missing something, right? Because he was a no-show in the fucking offs in the
Yeah,
series. So
yeah,
he's missing it. Like once his like Kawhi, we're watching the Raptors run.
yep.
We gave Kawhi the ball. Kawhi made something happen all the time.
Always.
We were in droughts. Kawhi made a play to get to the line, got a bucket, hit game-winning shots. Has Jayson Tatum did any of these things in the playoffs yet?
He's had 50 points in the game 7. He's had some things, but like is everyone says he does the same move. It's the step back three.
Jayson Tatum be playing light skin.
He
I'm
does.
not gonna lie. He be playing light skin. He be playing like it's I'm too cool for school, and it's like the game's on the line, the series on the line. Like there's a part. The
Yeah,
thing,
get a little messy, get a little dirty, go into the lane, fight
yeah,
somebody.
yeah. Like I feel like Boston is not as gritty. They should be like Tatum should be more gritty. Tatum, I should
I
say.
think that's what it comes down to me too. Like I just think like you guys play too like soft. So maybe that's why I feel like he doesn't have it. But if he wins a title, then
Because who are their
him and
bigs really? Who was the guy that was really banging in the paint? Robert Williams, right?
yeah,
Was
yeah,
him, right?
yeah.
Horford is not banging like that. He's like 40. He's just, you know what I mean? Porzingis not banging,
He's
right?
not. That's not Porzingis at all.
So
That's not
these guys,
Porzingis at
like,
all.
I feel like Boston's more like they have bigs, yeah, but they're like there's a perimeter team,
Very
right?
much so. Guard play, all those things are way more perimeter oriented. That's why I also think that Jason Tatum, when he is having like 8, 9 assists, I'm like, okay, that's the if factor because he needs to have the ability to like make sure he passes the ball and does all those other things that like a guy of his quality should do.
Tatum, he needs to always impact the game when he's not having a good shooting game. That's when you have to
Right.
hit, right?
You're right.
And
Do
until
other
that really
things.
happens consistently, right? Like Giannis will have like 8 points, but then have like assists. He'll have like 3 blocks. He'll have like 10 boards. He'll be getting it after on defense, running back on defense. It doesn't mean you're getting steals all the time, you're getting blocks. It means you're running back on defense. You're communicating on defense. All of those things, right? You're diving for loose balls.
Yeah. And I think Boston doesn't do that. Even Jalen Brown, I think like his next step is doing that. Like is the loose balls and Kyle Lowry does that a lot. Like he'll do all the little things. Chris Paul does the little things. Even Steph and Draymond, they do a lot of little things where I feel like
Who on
Boston,
Boston does the little things? Would you say Pritchard will be diving for balls? I would say.
him, I think Derek White will do it because he comes from the San Antonio Spurs
White will
mindset.
definitely do it. Yeah,
Drew Holiday won a title, so I can see him doing it.
true.
But only a few people I can truly see doing it. So yeah, it's just my thought. Like I just think like Jason Tatum is missing something, and I
Yeah, I
think it's just
agree.
an it.
He's there, but he's not there. But he's
Right. Like
yeah,
Luca has more of an it than Jason Tatum.
he does. He does.
So it's just those things. I'm like, some guys have that thing where you're like, okay, last 3 minutes, this guy has the ball, or I'm thinking I'm losing, or even last 10 seconds, I think I'm losing. Like they put a little bit of fear in you. I don't know. I feel like it's like
Kawhi
you
is
said.
definitely that. Like to me, okay, then who's the most three of the most clutch players in the league right now?
Well, if we take away the clutch metrics, I feel like what's his name, Jokic in the fourth quarter doesn't make any mistakes.
Okay.
I think he's just like mistakeless, and then he just always has the ability to score. I think Kawhi is still that guy. I think when Steph is hot, he's crazy.
I honestly hit the nail on the head with those three.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest with you.
yeah, because Steph is crazy when he's on it.
Yeah,
Whew,
yeah.
about I will score 15 things. But speaking of Steph, let's go to the Western Conference.
Let me see. Let me see these standings real quick, because
It's like close. The first three are close. Then the fourth to basically 10th is pretty close.
yeah. See, right now it's a game and a half for
Every
the
like
first three.
and like
And we said
OKC.
early that the Nuggets don't care where they
They don't care.
place.
They were
That's
losing
all.
by like darn near 22 to the Raptors.
Raptors are just losing to everybody this season. It's just hard to. It's just hard.
Yeah. Oh, even like RIP to RJ Barrett's little brother. Cause
Yeah,
like
yeah,
sad
that's bad,
again.
man.
Very, very sad.
Um, and he wants to be a pilot. I heard too.
Oh, for real.
Yeah, I heard he wants to be a pilot. Yeah,
Yeah. This shit sucks. Families shouldn't have to bury their loved ones like this.
I know.
Yeah, if you look at the standings, like okay, so the first three is the OKC, Minnesota, and Denver. Like you said, 0.5, and that's all because like and OKC won today. And then the other half is the Clippers, the Pelicans, who the Pelicans, they said
Surprising.
Zion lost close to 30 pounds.
That's what I heard from since the play-in tournament. That's what
Yep,
he looks a little slimmer,
he
but
does. I mean, you talk about this all the time. Zion, if that guy can just be like healthy, that team can win a title this year. I believe in Zion that much. I think Zion is could be the best player in the league if he just puts his mindset to it. He's too big.
you know what's funny? Gary agrees with you 100% with that
He's
statement.
too big. He's too big. He's bigger than Giannis, and
Yeah,
he's like his finishing at the rim is elite,
it is.
elite. He doesn't have a bad 3-point shot.
I
Like
feel he needs
now
to
it's kind
shoot
of
more.
iffy.
He just needs more repetitions with his
That's
with
it.
that's to me because his form, his mechanics is there. He just needs to just do it more. That's
That's
all.
really it. So they've been really good. Sacramento, Dallas, Phoenix are all kind of fighting to get away from the
Wow.
play-in.
That's all a half game.
Oh,
Wow.
and then the Golden State
And
Warriors in
that's
LA.
playing, you know. Playing is from is 7-8.
Yeah, yeah, yep, yep.
Wow.
So that's it. One of these, so two of these four teams are not making it.
Could you imagine Phoenix Suns in the play-in?
And you're OKC, you got to face them first round.
And you know
That's if
that
they
could
win their first
happen.
game.
Katie going back to Oklahoma,
That's kind of nice.
you know that could happen.
Yeah, G State's the 10th team, and they're also not that bad of a team.
Yeah, G State. What if G State makes the play-in and makes it and then play the Wolves, for example?
I wouldn't. No, I think then I would go with going. I would go with Minnesota. But if LA faced Minnesota, I would think. So I think the Lakers can only lose to Denver and the Clippers in the playoffs.
That's it, huh? You don't think
Yeah.
Minnesota, you don't think the size, the speed will kill Minnesota
No, I
with
think
the Warriors?
they still make a lot of mistakes, and I think all these young teams make a lot of mistakes in the playoffs where like people like LeBron capitalize on those things. So they like Jokic, you make a mistake for 1 second, Denver's on a 5-0 run, then on a 10-0 run.
So for the play-in, it's 7-10, right?
Yeah, yeah, 7 to 10, seven faces eight, nine faces 10, and then the loser of the 7-8 and the winner of 9 and 10 face each other.
You know, technically the Rockets can make the play-in still.
They will
Technically.
not make it. They will
I know,
not
but
make
I'm
it.
just saying technically they can make the play-in
They
still.
had a really good season and they have money this offseason. So
The fact that they're only 3 games below 500 is kind of crazy to me. But then
I'm like if I'm Houston, I don't know who you call, but like you try to call for like a small forward that you
yeah.
can or like a guard or a center, but then you trade your guys. Jalen Green can be an asset on a different team. Mm, I don't know. I just think Houston has a lot of leverage.
I would trade Jalen Green still, right? I would keep these 3 guys. I would keep Brooks, I would keep Fred, and I'll keep Seagon.
Yeah.
And I kind of try to just build around them. And who's the other second year guy? What's his name?
Jari Smith.
Gotta keep him too.
Yeah. I like Jari Smith and I like Tari Eason as well. But everyone else can leave. Jalen Green can definitely, but I think his trade value is low. Because I
Is
think
it? He's
everyone,
like
yeah, I
18,
think everyone
19.
knows that like what is I don't know. He's a good player, obviously, good player,
Yeah.
but he's also like Jordan Clarkson. I told you this from early. I'm like this guy's
And
Jordan
you're
Clarkson.
right. You're right.
Like he's Jordan Clarkson. He's that like he's there's nothing else to the game. Of course, the man can score 40 points on anyone. He's not afraid to score the basket. It's never the question with him. It's everything else that
Yeah,
you're
it's like
kind of
what
waiting to
else
see.
does he bring? If he's not scoring, can he still impact the game?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And I'm not too sure if he can do that. But yeah, the Western Conference is just gonna be the next like 12, 13 games. It's gonna be so fun to watch ball because these guys are gonna compete. Right? It's what Adam Silver's been wanting the whole time. It's what we all been wanting the whole time. Like,
Pelicans. If it ended today, the Pelicans are playing the Clippers.
And I think once again, if Zion can just not get injured and just perform the way he's been performing recently, oh, that team's winning. I really think so. I think it's the one of the best teams. I think BI's been good, CJ's been good. They're one of the deepest teams in the league.
Yo,
Legit.
CJ has been good, but if I'm New Orleans, I'm pulling to you. Hey, Atlanta, can we? I want Trae Young. I want him as my point guard.
Ooh. Trayon and Zion, the
What do
defense
you
will be
need? What
horrible.
do you need? What do you need from me?
The defense will
CJ's
be
up there.
horrible.
We're gonna give you CJ.
Horrible. Horrible defense, I think. But they have picks. You're right, though. They have a lot of picks that they can go from.
I
From.
think if Zion really, slims down, stay slim, got serious, and Pelicans have a point guard, not
Yes.
CJ, I feel
Yeah.
I feel
That's
they
why I
could make
like
a run.
Minnesota.
Say it again?
That's why I like Minnesota. Like I like them as a team because having Conley like helps them, makes them better
And he's a
overall.
veteran. He's a
Ah,
veteran. He's seen a lot.
right. And I think this team needs it. Like what has Rudy Gobert done with Utah? Not much. He hasn't when he was there. He didn't do much at all. He didn't do
He
much
was
at
there with
all.
Donovan Mitchell, right? So what did they do? Second
They didn't
round
do
exit.
much. That's my team, and I know they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything. They have to be better.
You know
But
what?
that's
The
just the
thing
Western
about
Conference,
Utah,
though.
Utah
Sorry.
over the course of decades has always had kind of quality teams, but they're just losing the second round. From when had Darren Williams and Boozer, those days Mehmet Okur, Andre
Utah,
Kirilenko.
Phoenix, and Utah, Phoenix, and another team that I noticed, Portland. Like Portland only recently they've started to tank for, but like most of the time I've always seen Portland be good.
Yeah, you're right, actually. From
I
Brad
haven't really seen
Ford
them be
days.
bad like consistently like this.
Yeah.
No, no, no. I yeah, Phoenix always been somehow they found a man.
From the
Always
Nash,
found a man.
Stoudemire, they had a little kind of funky year when they had
Oh,
like
that a thing with
Bledsoe
D'Antoni.
and IT and Booker on the squad, and
Yo, IT Booker and I don't want to say his name was a D, which I know it's not.
it was Dragon was on the
Yeah,
squad too,
tragic. Yeah, tragic.
right? And I think that was an entertaining year for them. They finished 500.
They won like 48 games and didn't make it to the playoffs. That's when the East and West thing was just so hilariously divided.
The West was crazy. Yeah,
So good. And the West is crazy now. You know,
still
with
is.
the it's I think like it's the last few games are gonna be so good because okay, season wants the first seed, so does Minnesota, so does Denver. I wouldn't want it too much. Well, it depends. If you're telling me I'm gonna have to face either, let's just say De'Aaron Fox, KD, Steph Curry, or LeBron, or even Luca, honestly, I don't want to do all that.
Yo, the West has a lot of star power in the playoffs. I'm not gonna lie.
So much stuff. So
But if
much.
I'm the Nuggets, I'm kind of looking at it like, you know what? We already won. We already beat X teams, whatnot. So it's like whatever. That's where
Yeah,
my confidence is. But
yeah.
I'm looking at
They should
we
be.
lost some pieces, and our bench really has three guys on it now.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Right. So and who are the three? Christian Braun, Paul Watson, and Reggie Jackson.
Yeah. And if they need backup center minutes, Najee Marshall doesn't get a lot of minutes. DeAndre Jordan can get some like they're facing like a big guy, but you have the
DeAndre
best
Jordan's
center in
gonna
the
go in the
league.
game for like 30, 40 seconds and just
Yeah. You have the best big in the game, and you have a great pick and roll partner for him for with Jamal Murray. Like it's a good team. It's a good team. They have an amazing starting five. Amazing to me starting five.
do. But outside of that is
Yeah, no.
like don't
It's
get it twisted.
questionable.
Reggie is going to work. He's going to
Yeah.
work. Even when he was on the Clippers, he's going to work.
Yeah, they're the favorites to win the title. They're
Yeah.
definitely the favorites. But that is it for this episode of the DM podcast. Like I said, we will have two more episodes, well, one more, and then another special episode where we talk about Vincent Lamar Carter, the guy that like influenced a nation of ball players. So we got to talk about him. Any parting shout outs before we close the pod, YS?
Man, everybody, just continue to support Raptors. Just continue to watch them. Even
It's
though they're
hard.
losing, just still watch them regardless. There
Our
are
next video will be about them. So it'll be tough. It'll be tough. Yeah, the Raptors are. You're right, though. Let's just be positive.
be
Fingers
positive.
crossed.
You're
I'm
wearing the
starting to
hat
think
for
that
a
I want
reason.
the draft pick. Sorry?
You're wearing the hat for a reason, man.
This is true. This is true. Yeah, I'm probably thinking I want the draft pick because, like, you know what? If they end up being good next year, if hopefully the bottom 17, 18, 19, 20, whatever draft that goes to San Antonio, I just that's where I'm now thinking more and more. I just don't want the Raptors to be held hostage, but that's just my thought process currently. But we'll talk about it again for DM Podcast. That is your boy YS. I'm your boy Mike. Make sure you guys comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll talk again. Peace.